Hello everyone, we have Captain Milind Patankar. He's the MD of Ship Owning Division at Transworld Group. Welcome, Mr. Welcome, Captain Milind.
Thank you. My pleasure.
I'll start by asking you the first question: that how do you think India is faring at implementing these diversity solutions in their companies, and how has these times changed over the years?
I think I'll start by saying as to, I heard a lot of speakers speak this morning in terms of statistics, in terms of, the diversity that they have got at their own companies. And since we didn't get a chance, I would like to firstly speak about Transworld itself.
Sure.
So Transworld, we've got today, the women participation in terms of diversity is close to 25%, which is far in excess of what most of the speakers have spoken this morning. And we got a very ambitious target to be gender neutral by 2030, which is in about 7 years' time from now. And not just that, even among that, 40% of the positions we want the women to occupy in the top leadership position.
Correct.
So that's the kind of target that we have laid. Now, obviously, coming to your question, the entire ecosystem has to be conducive. Otherwise,
Correct.
these kind of targets could not be achieved, right? We are finding more and more, in the aviation industry, there is a good participation. In the shipping, I think in onshore, we've got a lot of them. In fact, we have as many as 8 of our, women top professionals today attending, from our organization,
Okay.
But sadly, on the offshore side, on the ships, there's not much. And I think a lot needs to be done over there. We heard the IMU Vice Chancellor also saying about a lot of proactive steps being taken, and I think the whole ecosystem is coming up. She had a couple of fantastic points which I think are eye-openers in the sense that women should be made aware that this is an industry which is open to them. I think that awareness is not there.
Correct.
So the ecosystem has woken up whereby the women have become more outgoing. They want to embrace, but we need to open up a bit more in terms of advertising, if I may say, our industry, and saying that they are welcome as well.
Correct.
We'll see a world of sea change in their numbers, I'm sure.
Yeah. So we know that Transworld Group is synonymous to sustainable shipping practices, and do you at some point feel that diversity, when we are talking about diversity, it becomes more of a duty and a pressure, because that's what people are talking about right now, then organically growing your workforce and making it gender neutral? So what is it, and is there a play of perception over here? Like you said, aviation has a lot more women than shipping. So what is stopping women from entering the maritime world?
I think first and foremost, I would like to clarify that at Transworld, certainly it's not a kind of peer pressure or the industry pressure that's forcing us to achieve these kind of gender neutrality target. It is coming more from the top management, more from the will of the organization, more from the collective, thinking of the entire leadership. So it's coming more voluntarily. Nobody is forcing us. It is coming very organically from within. What are the benefits that we are seeing in that? That's not only to see because the rest of the world is doing, so we need to do. No. There's a lot of talent which can be used to advantage, number one. Number two, we are saying it's very difficult to attract quality manpower even to, for example, go to sea. Why are we then excluding a 50% of the female population that is around? I think we should encourage.
Correct.
So as to bring in more quality. So that also is an incentive for the company in that sense. Though we're not driven by it, I think we want to be very, very transparent in what you're doing. But certainly it is not under any pressure. This is a very voluntary, organic, as you call it. That kind of an initiative we have embarked upon, and I think it will add a lot of value. This is the perception we in Transworld carry, that with more participation, more diversity and more neutrality in terms of gender, the company and the organization will do far, far better than what it is now.
So very often it is seen that we do get women participation, but it becomes really difficult to retain them in the industry because of different societal pressures.
Yes.
And their own decisions, the guilt that
Yes.
comes with you're sacrificing one aspect of your life for the other. So how does the companies, or your company for that matter, how do they facilitate women?
Okay, so if I go back about 25 or 30 years when I stepped ashore, this was a very common perception that if you hired a women employee, sooner or later she will abandon it halfway through and go because she will have family pressures and societal pressures and things like that. Times have changed for sure. And as employers, we also feel responsible that you need to make the whole, company culture, the company atmosphere more conducive for not just them to stay but to thrive.
Correct.
How do we go about doing this? To begin with, you must understand also the Indian societal mind, So, women today, in spite of being at places, I think they continue to have some domestic responsibilities. There's still a little gap for that to be shed. At least, at a particular class. Maybe at a higher up, that may not be the case, but in the middle class, in the lower middle class and things like that, those perceptions still exist. So first and foremost, what Transworld has done is we've made a 4-day week.
Okay.
So from a 5-day working week, we made it a 4-day working week, which gives actually a Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of a bigger break for the families and the women to participate in whatever their social and their domestic responsibilities are. It gives them a little more time, in a way. And number two, we've started to look at aspects such as maternity leave before and after the delivery of a child, much longer. That is the second initiative that we have taken. The third initiative is also in terms of not keeping women where they join or where they remain, but to very actively kind of invest in them in terms of their training at top-notch institutes, in terms of their mentoring, in terms of their own growth.
Correct.
I think once the growth happens, both in terms of the stature, in terms of the financial rewards, there is an inbuilt attraction then to continue and to prosper. So those are some of those steps that we have taken.
Okay. And what do you have to say about the pay compensation or pay parity that exists? We have other industries where women are actually fighting for their rights and that there should be equal compensation and there should be equitable opportunities rather than equal opportunities.
Yes.
So what do you have to say about that?
Well, I think when the induction happens, number one, today we want to be, because we have this gender neutrality goal. So for every position, irrespective of at what level it comes open, we make a very conscious effort to firstly get CVs, applications from both genders, and then we do it only on the basis of merit. But it's certainly not to omit a particular gender or be very gender specific for any of the positions, number one. Having done that, obviously, the compensation package or the growth profile, whatever we have to offer to them as employers, this is the same to both of them to begin with. After that, when they rise, I think there is a lot of investment that I spoke to you. And when they rise, they get into a little higher up notch where this kind of, it doesn't make sense. I think it moves to a different notch altogether. The people who stay in spite of everything where they have to stay, then that is, you can't uplift everybody. But the company provides a good kind of and conducive atmosphere for their own upliftment, for their betterment, for their, prospering and doing much better in life. In fact, Transworld has got this motto, prosperity. I think so we keep talking about prosperity to not just the employees but to the entire stakeholding and the entire industry. So
holistic prosperity.
I think yes.
Okay, great. That was a really insightful conversation. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.